Over. All right. Chad Kennedy. We are live on Facebook, 2 YouTube sites. You're streaming like it's crazy, going out of style. Thank you for taking time. I know you're a busy guy as well, and it is. I don't know. You're in. No, you're not. You're in Kentucky. No, where are you out of?
I'm in South Carolina.
That's right, South Carolina. So you're on the Eastern time zone, just like me, and it's 5:30. So you and I are. It's beer 30, and we're sitting online talking about. Your presentation is not basic motor installation requirements. Your presentation is there. It is service entrance equipment,
Yes.
and you're covering
Yes. There.
21st. Once you give us a little background on who Chad Kennedy is, because there's probably a lot of people on YouTube that have never met you before. Give us a little background on you, and then let's talk about your program.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. So again, I'm Chad Kennedy, and I'm with Schneider Electric Square D, and I've had the privilege of working in the electrical industry 30 years now. So
Old.
I'm a PE, so I'm an electrical engineer, and my primary focus with Schneider Electric is for power systems and power equipment. It includes things such as the integration of renewables, energy storage, and alternate energy power systems. So I sit on code making panel 13 of the NEC. So that hits all your major users like emergency systems, legally required standby systems, fire pumps, and generators, those type of things. So today, we're talking about service equipment, and my program is really going to be a deep dive, Tom, in what impacts the 2020 NEC is going to have on services.
Awesome. And there was a lot of changes around services, weren't there?
Yeah, tremendous changes, and it's so important. So we're going to kind of start with a deep dive into the basics because a lot of times today, I'm going to put my manufacturer's hat on today. We might build equipment that is suitable for use of service, but the application from an NEC perspective, it may or may not be a service, but you're going to need to pay attention because what's the service? What does that mean? Where does it begin? Things like what's the service point?
That's
Those
right.
are all questions now we're going to have to really sort of understand really well.
Yeah, and so I know whenever I've done I do programs on that, you have, like you said, you have to know where the service is, where the service is, and then there are some changes that went in the code that indirectly impact the service equipment just based upon like for example size, working space. Working space, I believe, is 1200 amps and above. It's large equipment, but if you're at 1200 amps and above for working space, you're probably at the service entrance for a lot of install.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is the working space for large equipment. There's the rules change for where you have multiple service disconnects. So there's a lot of like common configurations of service equipment. So there's those pieces as well. So we'll look at that. On the residential side, we have the whole emergency disconnects discussion and whether that outside emergency disconnect for one and two family is that a service disconnect? Is it not? How do you know that? So lots of things to cover in this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve Froming just joined us. He says, "Hey," so from Wisconsin. You know Steve, right?
Yes, yeah, my fellow code making panel 13 buddy.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm just looking at, just seeing who we got out there. Many people book that person watching out there. So anyway, so they'll be kicking in, and if I see, and he says, Steve Froming says, and I'll bet we can talk with Chad in the. That's right. So here's another thing we're doing, Chad, and I believe you know about this, but I'm not sure. Um, I know you guys know, and I think Square D. I think you guys are doing the vendor afternoon program, if I'm not mistaken. I know we've sold a few of those already, so we're having from 11th or 12:30 Eastern to 1:30. We have an afternoon session. But in the evenings, we're going to do a virtual R&R ranch.
Oh, no, I wasn't aware of the virtual R&R.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Monday night we have Larry Air, who so that would be September 21st. Monday night will be Larry Air talking about the future of the NEC, the correlating committee, and all of that good stuff. Um,
Mm.
and so what the thought process is from 6 o'clock Eastern to 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll open up the channels for an R&R Ranch discussion. It'll be the same platform that we have now, but I would be able to do dial in as well. So I've got to figure out a way to where if somebody wants to pose questions or whatnot, that I could give them a call and tie them into this. And I could be like a true Rush Limbaugh or one of these guys, Oh, we're gonna,
Right.
let's we're gonna take a
Yeah.
caller. But yeah, so we're going to do an R&R ranch in the evening, and so our thought process is, you know, like I do from going to these Western sections. What happens in the R&R ranch? I mean, we talk code. We got the presenters showing up there before dinner and stuff like that. So Monday, Tuesday, I'm working on Wednesday. I've got to do an IEEE presentation in the evening, and Thursday. Definitely Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I have it scheduled 6 to 8. So if any of those nights, if you sat down and said, "Hey, you know what? I maybe on Monday night we'll talk to Larry as well." I don't think I mean, Larry can talk, but I don't know if he's going to be able to talk for 2 hours.
Right. No, exactly. And those of us, Tom, you led a task group to sort of help flesh out some of the vision that Larry has, and I did as well. So we can certainly help supplement that. And one question though is how's Steve going to deliver the R&R refreshments?
Uh, that's right. That's right.
I'm used to Steve being the server.
Yeah.
Where's
And
my popcorn?
yeah, and you know what? Steve and I were on yesterday, day before yesterday. I can't remember. I don't even know what day it is, but he and I went on to talk about the R&R Ranch, and it was like this type of a session just to give people a feeling. And he says there's an actual degree that you can get as a mixologist. What the heck is a mixologist? You ever hear that?
That's a new one.
A new one for me. But apparently in Wisconsin you can become a mixologist and mix some drinks.
A whiskologist.
A I always say yeah, whiskologist. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so I know service entrance equipment between the barriers that went in and all of the like you said, the disconnect, the outside disconnect, the what was the six disconnect rule changed. There's just so many changes. I think, in my opinion, I don't know where your head's at, but I think designers are going to have to rethink various installations or various practices that they have with with service equipment.
Yeah, I agree. And it also going to impact the contractors because we have some new rules for if you're going to splice service conductors, the requirements for
Yeah.
those devices that you do splicing, or some people use the term tapping, right?
Yep.
We also have some new surge protection requirements that are out there as well. So yeah, it's just hard to know where to start and where to stop with all this stuff that went on with service equipment.
Yeah, and now I will tell you. Okay, so Bill Brooks is going on Thursday. I think Thursday afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. He's doing the alternative energy, and the
Hmm.
title I had of his, well, I think it's still out there. The title that I have of his session is tapping into the service.
Yes.
Okay, did you know that Bill? I know, and Bill said, I'm sure if Bill feels this way, there are probably other people that have share the same concerns. They do not like the word tapping into the service, and so I don't know. You aware of that?
Well, so, being a Panel 13 member, I'm a little sensitive about the word tap just because, we put some clarifications for, when you're doing a generator tap and those type of things. And we sort of clarified that in our scope, it always means you have overcurrent protection ahead of it if you use the term tap. So, I think that there is a lot of interesting stuff for Bill to cover for a line side connection like that, and particularly the rules that went in around that being very much like a service, right? That the
Yep.
equipment where the overcurrent protection is suitable for use as service. It's a service entrance wiring method. Um, it's what's even, I think that the conclusion that you naturally come to, based on what happened in the final wording is that that disconnect is another service disconnect.
Yeah.
So when you look at the number of disconnects that's in the new 23071B, then that would say, that disconnect can't be in the same panel board enclosure as your main service disconnect. And so that really sort of may get addressed in the 2023 NEC. We may get some clarifications there, but where the 2020 lands, um, I think that that's a service disconnect. So I will touch on it a little bit as well, but I'll leave the majority of that to Bill. So
Right, that's cool. Yeah, so I never realized. So I changed the title. I think it's on YouTube, and I think on the registration I changed the title to "Connecting into the Service."
yes,
He felt more comfortable with that, but it just really shows you that words make a difference, especially in the code world. You know.
yes, yes, and that's why the terms around the different service conductors, what's service entrance conductors, and what's service lateral, what's overhead service conductors, and those things get really important because um, it comes down to where you can have multiple service entrance conductor sets as considered one service or multiple services, and all of that sort of begins to need to be well defined. And thankfully, we do. You just have to be really careful about the terminology and pay attention to the definitions in the code.
Yeah, that is critical. Now, were you involved with? I think Donnie Cook in the Alabama Central Division did a program on recognizing what services are, and I know I did one on similar to what you're going to be talking about for the Western section. But I never realized how challenging it can be just to recognize what is service equipment. When you're looking at an installation.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. In fact, I'm going to credit Donnie and use a few of his pictures because he had so many
Perfect.
great pictures that just illustrates what a challenge it is. And he even had installations where there was a considerable amount of overhead on premises customer owned distribution wiring. And it looks like a normal service, but it's not a service. So he did a great job with that program. And so I'm definitely going to utilize some of that because, it really puts us in the same shoes that the inspectors face every day.
So so if you were going to say, from a we want people to register, right? And I didn't have time to put the links down below, but I will have the links down below, and this is going to be recorded, so people are going to be looking at this after the fact anyway. But I'll have the links down below on the YouTube sites and on the Facebook pages and my LinkedIn, and please, YouTube Chad, share as much as you can. But people can register for the entire week, and they can register just for your session. But what would you recommend? Do you think people should register for the whole week and view the whole programs, all the different programs, peek in whenever they want, or do you think you're the most important thing on the entire Western Section program?
you know, um, I think the Western section and generally the IEI programs just offer a tremendous value for the education credits that you get versus the ability to interact with people all over the country. And the fact that they do a good job of keeping your CEUs or your continuing education hours that you need for accreditation. So I think it's a tremendous value. And you have this section's meeting this year has a tremendous lineup of presenters and topics.
Yeah, we
And I
do.
know the format's a little bit different and we can't be face to face, but honestly, I hope that allows the people that, if you're in an office and due to travel restrictions, only a few people can go, that maybe everyone can participate this year. So that's my goal. That's what I would hope for.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we're in, and my thoughts are that I think we'll get people that may not normally go to a Western section meeting. and get that experience. Because to your point, I mean, think about it. We got Christine Porter from Intertech. She is out in the field on a daily basis, so she's boots on the street, and she's on the code panel. She's on the Core Lane committee. We got Joe Andre, past NEMA rep, still Tube Institute now, very knowledgeable. Bill Brooks. I mean, you know, Bill's the. Want to talk about somebody who's in knee deep in PV? That's Bill. From a Code Panel 4 perspective, and you know, as you know, the task group itself. Tim McClintock, Dean Hunter. Dean Hunter is heavily involved with. I think he's on Code Panel 7, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a chief electrical inspector. So David Williams, Core Lane Committee, Panel 10. We've got a lineup
Tremendous
of
experience.
Absolutely, and you know what? You are not going to go to other programs and talk to people who are actually at the table when these decisions are made around the topics that we're going to be discussing. You know,
Yeah, listen, Tom, these are the people that I reach out to when I need to confirm an answer on something. So I think that that's an all-star cast you've got lined up.
and you know the other thing is that we were talking about just the IAEI in general. You know, yeah, we're doing an online event, but there people are going to see the names. You know what's going to happen. People are going to be commenting, and it's going to be the names that you and I know that we see at all these different meetings, because everybody's got their opinion, and they've got that they want to make that voice heard. That, you know, either they don't agree with you, or this is what the way they handle it, and you get all these different states involved. But it wasn't until I got engaged with IAEI that I started to build those relationships. So to your point, you know, when you come across something, you know, Donnie Cook, Jimmy Dollard, Christine Porter, Joe Andre, all of these people's names, David Williams, when you come across something, you go, I think I know what I'm talking about here, but you know what? I'm going to bounce this off somebody who knows, and you can just pick up the phone and call them.
Right, right. And you know, even if there's a disagreement, I think the principle of the, you know, of the goal we all align on.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that having someone that, you know, will to bounce the information off, and quite frankly, having someone that always doesn't always agree with you is a really good thing, right? It helps you see other sides of an issue or other sides of a problem you're trying to solve, and collectively you both make it better, which
Yep.
I think is a really cool thing about the format and the breadth of the IEI membership. So
Absolutely. And we're going to try to bring that online. I know we can't, like you said, we can't shake hands or break bread or share a drink together, but we can talk about code and get input from those who are watching. David Williams says this will be a Western Section meeting to remember. Thanks, Tom, for all the work, and thanks to David Williams. So we have a great board on the Western Section board, executive board. You know, Don Iverson's in there from Schneider, myself, David Williams, Tim McClintock. There are so many people heavily engaged, and you can't forget Mike Forrester. So there are, you know, this is unprecedented times, but we are pulling out all the stops to bring technical content, and we have a total. If you do the entire week, think about it, Chad. You've got 4 hours, 2 hours in the morning on Monday, 2 hours in the afternoon. And we do that every day except Friday. It's just the morning. So that is a total of 18 CEU credits recognized by the IAEI, and it's the international office, right? So many states recognize the CEU credits coming from the IAEI, and those states that are in the Western Section, we're giving the education chairs and secretaries the information so that they can get the states to accept. We got Ohio to accept our CEU credits, and it was short order. But the nice thing is, most of these states understand that we want to keep our contractors with their licenses. We want to make sure they get the CEU credits. They can't sit in a room and get them, and they're going to get it online. And what better way to do it than through a program delivered by the International Association?
yeah, exactly. And we want their voice. That's why we want them here.
Unknown caller.
Yep, that's a telemarketer.
Oh, okay.
It come up Cincinnati, Ohio telemarketer.
There we go.
But yeah, you're right. We want everybody's voice at the table, and that's what's it's you're going to share a lot of good information. But what I've learned, and especially doing these YouTube programs, what I've learned a lot is I'm delivering information, and you know it happens in the meetings as well. But people get on those chat boxes and they'll say, "That's not how I do it in my local jurisdiction. I do it this way." And then you'll get the dialogue. So what you're going to be delivering is one aspect of what the attendees will get. The other aspect is all of those other individuals are going to be chatting on that YouTube channel, sharing their knowledge. That's huge.
Yeah, I can't wait for it, Tom. There's so many different variations of the way things are done across the country, and particularly the changes with services. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna have fun, Chad.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Same here, brother. Same here. So I'm looking out online. We've got a few people. This is going to be up there. Susan Newman Scarsey, or hope I said that right. I never get her. I just call her Susan. She says she's clapping her hands. She's saying, "Hey." So thanks for joining us, Susan. We really appreciate that. And Susan is out of the Southern section.
Yes, my section.
That's right. Are you guys doing a Southern section meeting? Uh,
Yes, I don't know the details at this point. I probably have it in an email.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. You know what? You're like me. So many emails. That's the other thing is the it seems that people have more time for things like this, sending emails and making phone calls, telemarketer calls. Beautiful. All right, so Chad, you're going on September 21st, 10 a.m. Eastern Start Time. You'll go from 10 to 2. We'll be live, this type of a
And
format. And when you go on, you'll be presenting full screen either this way, or if you need to present the screen itself, we will put the screen itself out there. So we have different ways to make sure that that the YouTube experience is clear and reliable. Your audio looks great. Your video looks great. I mean, it would be great. I mean, you did what you could do, right? I mean,
right, yeah.
you combed
Whole
your
body, I do what I can do.
absolutely. So I appreciate your time on this. We're not going to take up any more of your time. I know it's beer 30 for you and me, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your time for September. And anybody out there, please subscribe to the Western Section YouTube channel. We need subscribers. We are going to be doing more of these programs even moving forward. So we're going to be putting content up on our YouTube site. We're going to be creating experiences like this so that you can learn technical content with experts like Chad Kennedy and others in the industry to share their knowledge platform. So subscribe, hit the bell, and don't forget to register for the coming Western Section meeting. Chad, I'm going to leave you with the last word before we sign off.
Oh, I just want to say I appreciate the Western section so much and the ability to participate. It's really an honor. And, again, I look forward in the future to actually us having in-person meetings and being able to see everybody again. But I encourage everyone to participate. I think that, during the circumstances, we have a platform, we're going to use it. I think everyone who participates will get something out of it. So please join.
Thank you very much. And before I sign off, Jeff Grossi, he says, "Love you guys. Can't wait for Chad's program and R&R Ranch rules." So Jeff, thanks for joining. Well, all right, brother. Signing off. Take
Here,
care.
here. Thanks.
Appreciate it, and appreciate all you're doing, Chad. And remember, everybody, take care, stay safe, and